Now let's go over how we can use the distributive property in solving an equation. Here's our equation. We have -5 times, in parentheses, 7 minus 4a equal to 25. Remember, distributive property means we're taking our outside term, that -5, and we're going to multiply it with our inside terms inside the parentheses. So we'll take our -5 and give it out to that 7 and that minus 4a. Then we can rewrite our equation to show this multiplication that's happening. We can rewrite it as -5 times 7 plus -5 times -4a, still all equal to 25. We can go ahead and use our order of operations and multiply first before adding. So we'll start with the -5 times 7. That'll leave us with -35 plus our -5 times -4a, that's constant times coefficient. So negative times a negative will give us a positive. We'll be left with 20a. So we rewrite our equation as -35 plus 20a equals 25, which can be rewritten as the same, -35 plus 28 equals 25. And now we have our two-step equation. In our two-step equation that we see here, we have -35 plus 20a equals 25. Remember that we have subtraction to start with, and now we're using reverse order of operations. So we'll add 35 to both sides of our equation. When we add 35 to both sides, the 35s on the left cancel out to be 0, and on the right, they'll add 25 and 35 to be 60. So we'll be left with 20a equals 60. Now we have our one-step multiplication equation. All we need to do is do reverse operation, which is division, and we'll divide both sides by 20. So we're left with a equals 3. That's our answer, and we can move on to our check. For our check, all we're doing is we're taking that 3 and we're plugging it back into our original equation, -5 times, in parentheses, 7 minus 4 times 3 equals 25. Remember, for the check, now we're using the order of operations, PEMDAS, which means we'll start with what's inside the parentheses, and in this case, we'll start with the multiplication that's inside the parentheses. So we'll start with that -4 times 3. So we'll be left with -5 times 7 minus 12, 7 minus 12 in parentheses, equal to 25. Now, to continue order of operations, we'll still do what's inside the parentheses, so we'll be left with -5 times -5. We have negative times a negative, gives us a positive, and we'll be left with 25 equals 25. Our check works, so our answer A equals 3 is correct, and that's how we could use the distributive property to solve an equation.